So when we think of the United States, we have to think of ourselves as part of a story. The Muslims are part of a narrative, and we have been part of this narrative from the beginning. The Muslims were here from the very start. There's evidence that we were probably here before Columbus, and that's a debatable point. But we know that the Muslims have been here for over 500 years. There's ample historical evidence to prove that. We have cities in the United States that were named by Muslims. There are several cities in the United States that were named Medina. We have a city in Indiana that's called Muhammad, the city of Muhammad, Illinois. We have a city in Indiana called Medina, and many of the graveyards have a hand with a finger pointing up, and they have Muslim names on this. And these are Turkish and Arabs that came to that city and founded that city and named it after Medina. We have a city that was first named Mecca, and then they changed it to Medina. So the Muslims have been here, and they have been part of this. We know in this city, there was a beautiful Muslim that was painted by the great painter Peale, who also painted George Washington, Yaro Mahmoud. This man was noted he lived in Georgetown, he was a freed slave, he was a Fulani, he was brought to America as a slave, he was a Fulani, and he was noted for chanting his Islamic prayers while walking around Georgetown. And he was such a pleasant person that Peale, who originally planned to paint him in a day, ended up spending several days with him. This is part of American history. Islam is the only religion that was honored. If you go to the Library of Congress, it is the only religion that is mentioned. If you look at the dome above the Library of Congress in the main hall, you will see Islam. All of the other names are names of civilizations, but Islam was singled out because of its contribution to human knowledge. And this is really important for us to remember. So we have been part of this story. Muslims fought in all of these wars in American history, fought for this country. Muslims died in World War II for this country, in World War I. In the Civil War, there were Muslims fighting. So this idea somehow that we're alien is a completely unacceptable idea. The second thing I want to emphasize about it is that the Muslims, many of you are immigrants in the post-1965 Act of Immigration, which enabled people to come to this country from countries that traditionally it was very unusual. There were always people from these countries, and Jefferson actually mentions Mohammedans and Hindus as people that he wanted to feel safe living in America. So he mentioned this in his letters about his Virginia Act of Toleration. So it's very important to remember that America is a land of immigrants. There is ample evidence even that the original inhabitants of America, the Aboriginals, came from Asia over the Bering. And the Navajo people, their genetic disposition is identical to peoples in Mongolia. So everybody that has come to America has come as an immigrant, even the original inhabitants of the New World. So it's very important for us to remember that America is a story of immigrants, and that you are part of that story. Those of you who have come late are still part of that story, and you cannot see yourselves as somehow as foreigners.